Welcome back to the NITE Economics YouTube channel, and today we're going to be continuing looking at just what's happening in the markets overall. Let's start over here with Bitcoin. So Bitcoin, let's look at the daily. Actually, this is a monthly look. So Bitcoin yesterday had a low of, I guess it was early in the morning today actually, because today is Friday, February the 6th, 2026. And Bitcoin had a low of 60,185. It almost hit that $59,000 mark. Like I have been talking here in my channel, I think that the Bitcoin is now likely to get down to about 50K at some point. I don't think it's going to happen right now, particularly after this massive move to the downside. So I feel like this move to the downside has momentarily been spent. And now I think Bitcoin's going to spend some time moving sideways and up. But overall, I think there will be another wick down and potentially lower to this around, mid 50, 55, maybe as low as 50,000. And I mean, this is very difficult to time. Like it's very difficult to predict how low Bitcoin will go, or if this is even the bottom. I personally are of the side of thinking this is not the bottom, but I don't think it has much lower to go than from the low. So maybe another 10 grand maximum to go from the 60,000 low, but I think that would be more or less about it. And yeah, I think trying to time exactly what the bottom is very difficult, but it gives you an idea of where it's going. And I mean, if you're bullish during, even like back here, if you're kind of bullish around here, I mean, once Bitcoin closed like weekly candles below the 21 and it's particularly this one, the 55 exponential moving average, historically that's been the end of the bull run, and Bitcoin has been living for several weeks, like 3 months, but now more. Like it's going on to our third month that we've been below this exponential moving average, and actually right now we're below the 200 simple moving average, just well below it really. I mean, yesterday got really well below it. So I mean, Bitcoin is clearly in a bear market. This is the bear market. I don't know if anybody thinks otherwise. I don't think we're in a super cycle right now. Will there be a super cycle in the future? Maybe. But as of right now, there is no sign of a super cycle in my personal opinion. But yeah, I mean, since yesterday or since the low earlier this morning, whenever that was, Bitcoin has bounced significantly, so it's gone up 6,000, over 6,000 bucks. So that's let's get the magnet on here. That's a bounce of approximately, it's almost a 10% bounce. So it's a very tradable move. I personally don't think there's gonna be any more downside right now, or at least not significant downside from this current move. Yeah, I don't see that happening right now. I could be wrong, of course, and I reserve the right to being perfectly wrong. This again is my YouTube channel, and I only present my ideas. And if they're wrong, they're wrong. It's okay. I've been wrong many times. I'll be wrong again, and it's just what I'm looking at in the market. Let's go over to gold priced in Bitcoin. So the gold Bitcoin ratio, we've looked at the other chart, which is the Bitcoin price in gold. This is the opposite. So as you can see, this is why I'm absolutely super bullish for Bitcoin in the long term, even when you price it in gold. And it's because of this chart right here. It's the opposite of the other one, of the one I've usually showed. But as you can see, that gold is in a long-term downtrend versus Bitcoin, as you could see. Now maybe that could change if gold rallies some more and Bitcoin dumps some more, or both happen at the same time, and then gold makes a new high here, so a higher high versus this high over here. But I don't see that happening. I really don't see that happening right now. I think Bitcoin is finding a bottom relative to gold around here, and I don't see that happening. Again, anything is possible, right? Like, I don't want to say it's not going to happen, because many times people say things are not going to happen and the opposite does happen. So I mean, yeah, it would have to gain 46% versus Bitcoin. Gold would have to gain versus Bitcoin that much in order to, and it have to be above that in order to start reversing this and creating an uptrend. I just don't see that happening, not anytime soon. and not during my lifetime. So this was an interesting one to look at. This is why I am super bullish with Bitcoin in the long term, because I think overall, like, yeah, gold is not going to have these big drop-offs versus Bitcoin anymore, but it's going to trend more downward, slowly downward, right? Even though I do think gold will have these rallies versus Bitcoin intermittently, but I think it's going to be like a seesaw. You know, one goes up, one goes down, one goes up, one goes down over the period of several years and decades for sure. So this is not like a tomorrow thing. Let's take a quick look at gold. As you can see, gold is performing. It's performing pretty well given the fact of what has happened in the crypto market. Let's see where it's currently at. So it's down 12%. It's down 12% from the high. Obviously it dumped off about 20%. Since then it's recovered and it's down only about 10%. So that's not bad. Like, if you were in gold and you wanted to sell, this might be a good opportunity to sell. Although I've been watching Ben Cowan's videos, and he has pointed out that sometimes silver will top before gold. Gold will move sideways a little bit and then make the macro high a little bit after that. So maybe Bitcoin has so gold has another move left in its sleeve, but only time will tell. Regardless, I think if you bought down here or even down here, is this a good time to offload? I would say so. You don't need to time the top in order to make a ton of money, especially in a market that looks like this. Even from like down here, or even from here. Even if you were here and you get out here, it's a fantastic return. If you're buying, gold around 2,500 and you get out at 4,800, you more than doubled your money. So I mean, I don't think there's much to complain there, unless you're like putting $100 and that's all you're putting, and you want to become a millionaire off of $100, which is silly. Then I guess you're not gonna be very happy with $200, right? But $200 plus. But I think that's a fantastic return personally. S&P 500 here is showing a little bit of weakness in the weekly. It's finding support here in the 21 exponential moving average. Let's see where it closes this week. It has, it closes today in 8 hours. So I'm in Europe. So actually, traditional markets over in the United States have not opened up yet. They open up at 4 p.m. Here in Europe. So we'll see what happens around that time, and right now it's pretty early. It's 1:35 in the afternoon here in Europe. So I'm kind of jumping back and forth here. So that's the S&P 500, and again, to me it was like just kind of looking fatigued here. This move, it wasn't really making much of a move to the upside. Now it's made its move to the downside. If it closes below the low of 2 weeks ago, which right now it could. I mean, it's well below that. The close of 2 weeks ago was 6,915. It's currently at 6,879. So, yeah, and especially if it closes below this 21 exponential moving average, I think that the next realistic and target could be 6,389, which is the 55 exponential moving average. And can a larger move happen from here? Can it dump off 20%? I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. We'll see. I do think that eventually something needs to trigger the Federal Reserve, or just the U.S. economy, or the U.S. government and the Federal Reserve, to loosen monetary policy in terms of money printing. I mean, historically, they do that every couple of years, every 10 years or so. They start money printing in order to prop up assets and stuff like that. So, I mean, the S&P 500 is looking a little sluggish here. If you get a downward move, something scary, you would have thought that maybe it would have happened here. You would have got some money printing, but it didn't happen around here. I think around here is when in June, it was kind of like around here when they said that quantitative tightening was over. So maybe this is the result of the ending of quantitative tightening. You got this move here to the upside. But I think to keep markets going, you need a little bit more than that, right? You need something like a big scare in the market, like what happened here in the Corona dump. And it doesn't have to be exactly this, but this was a big dump, right? From top to bottom, you had what is that? More than a 35% drop, right? in a very short amount of time, right? So if you get something similar like this, you know, I don't think a 20% move will do it for the money printers to turn on, but maybe 20. What does 20% look like? 5,500. What does a 35% move look like? That's lower than last year's spring low. That's quite low. There's around 4,500 would be a 35% move more or less, and essentially the S&P 500 would be tagging this 377 exponential moving average on the weekly. So I mean, anything is possible, right? But I think that would definitely trigger the hand or force the hand of the Federal Reserve to start printing money, essentially, and start buying up assets, expanding their balance sheet, essentially. And then let's take a quick look at the gold-silver ratio. As you could see, it's recovering very, very nicely, the gold-silver ratio here. So you could see it had that, 2 weeks ago now, I guess, it had that extreme low at, what is that, 43 bucks. And now has recovered all the way to 65 bucks, and that's just because silver has dropped significantly more than gold, and gold has actually recovered a little bit. So this is why you're seeing this massive recovery. I'm sure it's going to be, quite volatile, but I think this is going to start making its move to the upside. Historically, that kind of happens, right? Kind of like something kind of like this, but obviously it's not the same thing. But it has a big wick down. Obviously, it happened much faster, and now it's recovering much faster. But I think it could pull back again and then make another move higher. We'll see, but I think this is going to turn around into the long term. Into the long term, is going to definitely turn around. And let's take a quick look at the S&P priced in gold. Let's see if I have that one. Right here we are. Yeah, so you could see it continues to perform not so good, I guess. So this would be, it's kind of hard to see in small. Yeah, so I guess this would be 1, 2, and potentially the third week that it would close below that crucial support level of 1.43. It's currently sitting on 1.39. So yeah, as long as the S&P 500 doesn't dump off significantly, you're not going to go any lower. Or if gold doesn't rally, it's going to pretty much stay where it's at. But I think the S&P 500 is going to dump off in the weeks to come. So we should see this. I don't know how low it's going to get, but get lower for sure. And yeah, and only time will tell. But I think right now, probably the most interesting thing that's happening right now is what Bitcoin's going to do into the short term, medium term. Again, it's looking like it's rallying from that low of 60,000 bucks. Where will the next high be, or the next pullback? Let's take a look at. So I'm just kind of jumping back and forth between different assets here. Let's turn on the moving averages. Yeah, and I think maybe the 80,000 bucks here. I mean, first it needs to get above, on the daily, it needs to get above the 5 exponential moving average. And right now it actually got rejected there. I guess at some point today it got rejected there. Or was that where it dumped off earlier today? Yeah, but regardless, it looks like, no, that's actually because it opened here. It's currently there. So it got rejected at some point today at this, more or less a 70,000 exponential moving average. If it goes above that, then the next target will be the 21 exponential moving average, and only time will tell what will happen when that will happen. Anyways, that's it for today, guys. I hope you guys like the content. If you do, drop a like, subscribe, leave a comment if you're inclined to, and I'll see you guys next time. Take care. Bye.